Namaste, friends, disciples, devotees. During this challenging time, I have spoken to you on fear, on the divine force, on the divine help, and many other topics. So today, I want to shift our consciousness a little bit and share with you some very interesting stories from the mother on cats. This is all in Mother's own writing, or she has shared this with a number of people. And she writes, "But I have had cats. I had a cat who was the reincarnation of the mind of a Russian woman. I had a vision of it one day. It was so strange. This woman had been murdered at the time of the Russian Revolution, along with her two little children, and her mind entered a cat here. How? I don't know. But this cat, mon petit, I got her when she was very young. She would come and lie down, stretched out like a human being, with her head on my arm. I used to sleep on a Japanese tatami on the floor, and she would stay there, so well behaved, didn't stir all night long. I was really amazed. Then she had kittens and wanted to give birth to them lying stretched out, not at all like a cat. It was very difficult to make her understand that it couldn't be done that way. And one night, after she had her kittens, I saw a young woman in furs with a fur bonnet. You could just see a tiny human face. She had two little ones, and she came to me and placed them at my feet. Her whole story was there in her consciousness, how she and the two children had been murdered. And then I realized she was the cat. The cat wouldn't leave her kittens for a moment, not for anything. She wouldn't eat, wouldn't go outside to relieve herself, nothing. She stayed put. So I told her, "Bring me your kittens. If you know how to handle them, cats understand very well when they're spoken to. Bring me your little ones." She looked at me, went and brought one of her kittens and placed it between my feet. Then she went to fetch the other one and placed it between my feet, not beside, between my feet. "Now you can go out," I told her. And she went out. I had another cat named Kiki. He had a wonderful color and was just like velvet. We used to have meditations, and he would come, get up on a chair, and go into trance. He would make the brusque movements of trance during the meditation, and I had to rouse him out of it. Otherwise, he wouldn't wake up. Once this cat was stung by a scorpion. A foolhardy youngster, he used to play with scorpions. I had to rescue him one day. I came onto the veranda just when he was playing with the big scorpion. I caught the cat, put him on my shoulder, and killed the scorpion. But another time, I wasn't there, and he was stung. He came inside, done for. I clearly saw the signs that he had been poisoned by a scorpion. I put him on a table and went to call Sri Aurobindo. Kiki has been stung by a scorpion, I said. He was dying, almost in a coma. Sri Aurobindo pulled up a chair, sat down facing the table, and began to gaze at Kiki. This lasted about 20 or 25 minutes. Then suddenly the cat relaxed completely and fell asleep. When he woke up, he was entirely cured. Sri Aurobindo didn't touch him. He didn't do anything. He simply gazed at him. I had another cat I called Big Boy. Oh, how beautiful he was. Enormous. A tail like the train of a gown. He was beautiful. Since there were all kinds of cats prowling around, including a big, fierce tomcat who was extremely vicious, I was afraid for this one when he was little, and I got him used to spending his nights inside, which is hard for a cat to do. I forbade him to go out. So he spent his nights inside, and when I got up in the morning, he got up too, and came and sat down in front of me. Then I would say, "All right, Big Boy, you can go." And he would jump out the window and go off, but never before. And this is the one who was poisoned, because later on he would go roaming about. He had become terribly strong and would prowl around everywhere. At that time, I was living in the library house, and he would go off as far as the ashram street. The ashram didn't belong to us yet. The house was owned by all kinds of people. But when I would go out on the terrace, across from Champakal's kitchen and call, "Big Boy, Big Boy," although he couldn't hear it, he could sense it. And he would come back galloping, galloping. He always came back, unfailingly. The day he didn't come back, I got worried. The servant went looking for him and found him moaning, vomiting, poisoned. He brought him to me. Oh, really, he was so nice. He wasn't a thief or anything. He was a wonderful cat. Someone had laid out poison for God knows what cat, and he ate it. I showed him to Sri Aurobindo and said, "He has been killed." Before that, I lost another one from that kind of typhoid cat skit. He was called Brownie, and he was so beautiful, so nice, such a marvelous cat. Even when utterly sick, he wouldn't make a mess, except in a corner prepared just for that. He would call me to carry him to his box with such a soft and mournful voice. He was so nice, with something sweeter and more trusting than a child. There is a trust in animals which doesn't exist in humans. Even children already have too much of a questioning mind. But with him, there was a kind of worship and adoration. As soon as I took him in my arms, if he could have smiled, he would have. As soon as I held him, he became blissful. That one too was beautiful, with such a color, golden chestnut. I have never seen a cat like him. He is buried beneath the tree I named Service. I put him beneath the roots myself. There had been an old mango tree there that was withering away. We replaced it with a little copperpod tree with yellow flowers. These animals are so nice when you know how to handle them. When I moved to the ashram, I said, "We can't bring any cats into this house. It's quite impossible." This was after Big Boy's death, and we had had enough of cats. I gave away the others, but the first one, the mother of the whole line, was old and didn't want to leave, so I left her behind. She stayed in a house over there within the ashram compound, and one day she was very old and could no longer move. I saw her come dragging in and sit down on the terrace on the other side. Now you can't see it anymore. The service tree has hidden it completely. But in those days, you could see it very clearly. She came and sat down over there where she could watch me until she died, quietly, without moving. She died watching me. All these cat stories. If we had photographs, we could make a pretty little album of cat stories. And extraordinary details, showing such intelligence. Oh, this woman, I mean, this cat who had been a woman, if you knew how she brought up her children, oh, with such patience, such intelligence and understanding. It was extraordinary. One could tell long, long stories, how she taught them not to be afraid, to walk along the edge of walls, to jump from a wall to a window. She showed them, encouraged them, and finally, after showing and encouraging them very often, some would jump, others were afraid. She would give them a push. So, of course, they would jump immediately. And she taught them everything to eat, to this cat would never eat before they had all eaten. She would show them what to do, give each one what it needed. And once they had grown up and she didn't have to look after them anymore, if they kept coming back, she would send them away. Go away. Your turn is over. It's finished. Go out into the world. And she would take care of the new ones. Once one of her kittens was ill. She was pretty and gray colored, clear gray with a very soft fur, very pretty. She had caught this cat sickness and was lying down. And the mother was teaching all the little ones not to come near her. She would make them all go the way around, as if her instinct told her it was contagious. And you would see them. The sick kitten was right in their way, going all the way around, never coming near. We will continue Mother's talks and writings on cats in our next session next Friday. Thank you all, and I hope you have enjoyed this little deeper understanding of animals through what the Divine Mother has told us. Namaste.